Hi, my name is Valkyrie Holmes and welcome back to my channel. I am Little Bird and today I'm going to be walking you through my Notion page and how I set it up and why you should choose Notion and basically everything that has to do with Notion page setups and everything that it has to offer really. I wish more people knew about Notion. I wish I knew about it way earlier than I did. But this is why I'm making this video, just to show other people how you can set it up. Obviously, you don't have to do it the same way that I'm doing it, but just a little way to get you into the flow of things. A little bit of what is Notion. Notion is basically this giant note-taking app, but it's kind of evolved past note-taking. You don't really have to even use it for that anymore. It has everything from graphs to data analytics to setting up pages for your friends to plan activities, and really it has anything that you could possibly think to offer. And even if it doesn't, there are extensions that can give you different things into your Notion page that you didn't even think you would have wanted, but they're there now. I started using Notion about a year and a half ago, and it completely changed the game when it came to doing all of the stuff that I needed in the day, and keeping track of all of the things that I needed to do in the week. Along with like a bunch of different like ideas that I had for things, and it just become my one-stop shop for everything in my life basically that I've ever wanted to pursue. I've always been a note-taking person. I've always been like an agenda-based person. I really like writing things down. I like keeping track of everything in one unique place. And I've always been up for optimizing my productivity. So a year and a half ago, I decided to start using Notion to keep track of my like daily update kind of stuff and reflections. And I literally haven't used a single other thing since as consistently as Notion. I'm going to link a few alternatives in the description. There's something called Updately that I also use, but Updately is more so for reflections just for me. I think having some reflections out in the public is good for me to ask questions to people. There are a couple more that aren't coming to mind right now, but I will definitely check them out and recommend some of them to you in the description. And with that being said, let's just hop right into the tutorial.
All right, so this is my 2021 Notion page. As you can see, I have kind of like a light academia theme going on. If you're familiar with aesthetics, it's just this is what I find most appealing, or at least for the last year I have. So I basically just sectioned off everything with different pictures that I found really nice, and I'll go into a little bit on how to make certain pages. But for now, we're just going to go ahead and go into like a daily updates kind of thing. So this is my garden. It's basically just themed to whatever year. So for this year, I wanted it to kind of be every month is like a different flower. So that's just how I chose to like format my daily updates, I guess. But as you can see, all of them have a different flower, and it's like all themed in the garden thing. Um, let's go into December. As you can see, it's still kind of themed and everything. So for the last day of December, which just passed, I'll be uploading this after New Year's. So happy New Year's to everyone. But this is kind of how I set it up. So you can set a random emoji here. You can look up emojis, or they kind of just like generate randomly for you. You can hit random right here, and it'll just like pop up with a random one. But I just chose a little lettuce leaf. Or you can upload your own image, and it will resize it to this kind of like pixel length, and it'll pop up as a little square here, like it was on my original dashboard. Or you can put a link in here, and you can make it basically like an image. And then you can remove it, and it'll be the same way. It's kind of the same thing with this background here. You can't really change the size of this. It's kind of just like right there. But you can choose from their array of like NASA images or stuff from the Met and like different museums. Or you can upload your own, and it'll resize it for you, link it, or you can use Unsplash for various other images. I usually just choose to pick a random one from this gallery though. Right here, it's always going to be a little header for you to title the page, which is what all of these basically are, and I'll show you how to set up a page in a second. But there's also different headers. So right now, this I think is like one or like a header 1 or 2. But what you do is you click on this little like dragging like these 6 dots, like 3 in a row, And you can change this into whatever you want. So you can turn it into different headers. So that changes basically like the size of what this is like. If I can do that right, so it'll change it. Or you can turn it into a list, or like a toggle button where you can basically put whatever you want below this or whatever you want. And then also another thing you can do is you can make it basically like a quote. So it kind of just like highlights this area, this certain area, um, and makes it kind of just see like you can put anything here basically. So there's a lot of different options that you have for this, but those are just a few of the ones that I like to use. Next up, I'll be discussing kind of like the Notion add-ons in more detail later on in the video, but this is kind of just like a Google Calendar embed that I use. And what this does is it filters everything that I put on my Google Calendar through Notion. So I can basically click on any of these and I have full access to all of the events and who accepted and my email and everything like that. So it automatically updates whenever anything in my Google Calendar is updated. So yeah, that's basically what that is. But again, I'll go into more detail with that in a little bit. And then we have all of my like to-do tasks for every day. So I kind of organize everything into entrees. So like the biggest things I have to get done in the week, my sides, which are just like smaller tasks that I have to get done, and then my treats, which is basically any like social events that I have to go to or anything I'm looking forward to. Yeah, it's just things that I have to look forward to in the day. And keeping everything outlined like this kind of helps me organize how I plan out my day, which I will show you right here. So the way that I do this is basically I have this database that you can embed into Notion, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. But I basically arrange it as from this time period, I want to get these things done, and then I have a column right here that you can basically click that it's incomplete or complete, and I'll just pick it for each one. There's also pages that you can open up over here. That you can basically just put anything in here and you can open it whenever you want, but it's all under this table right here. And again, same thing over here. So let me just show you how to make something like this. So as you can see right here, it says type / for commands. So when you type that /, it's basically going to give you the exact same things that it gave you before with the dots on the side over here. But it's going to give you a lot more options. So everything over here is basically the exact same up until this call out button. And then you get into different things that you can do as an inline. So you can like mention people. So if you have other people shared on your document, you can ping them so that they get a notification. You can mention a different page or like set a reminder or put a different emoji in or anything like that. There's a lot of things you can do. But for right now, all we're going to do is we're going to use this table inline. There's a difference between like the inlines and the full pages. The full pages just makes a whole separate page for it, but we want everything to be on this one page. So we're going to make a table database inline. So right here we have this table. You can basically title this anything, and it'll just put it right there. Now I have this basic thing as like a name, so you can just put like whatever here. And it'll just make it like a title almost, like a title card. And you can also open that up as a page like I did before. Now, there's a lot of different things that you can do. You can add columns to it. Each column has different properties that you can assign to it. You can assign different numbers if you want it to be more like I guess finance based. You can do select where you have like a bunch of options, or multi-select. It's the same kind of thing. And all of these you can kind of experiment with. And then there's more advanced ones over here, but I really don't use a lot of that. What I do use is I use the text column and I use the select button. So now when you click over here, you can basically create any option by typing whatever you want, and it will create one for you. So if I want to do complete, it'll create a complete button for me, and it'll just be right there. And then if I also wanted to do incomplete, like I did, it'll assign them random colors, but you can kind of edit that as you go. But that's how you set up a column. And then right here, you can set this up as text to make it the same way that I did. You can basically like adjust things. You can like make them bigger, smaller, and you can add rows down here. So it really just depends on how you want to make this, but this is entirely your own. So you can make it however you want. And again, this is just how I set up my daily tasks. So it in no way has to be exactly like this. All right, so now we are back on my main page, and I wanted to show you just a few more things, specifically embeds that I have used to kind of up my Notion game, as you will. A few things that I wanted to point out before that, though. If you go to this little section over here, you can really customize how your page looks just from this right here. So you can change a lot of the fonts I mean, right now it's really only 3, but you can also make the text a bit smaller, and you can make the page full width, which basically it basically just like enlarges everything, instead of it all being like very dead center. Another thing you can do is you basically can embed images, but you can also embed audio. So this is what I chose to embed in mine. So you can embed little musical kind of things. I just like the vibe of that. So yeah, that's basically all I wanted to touch on in terms of like Notion's actual characteristics. Now moving on to the embeds. So as you can see right here, I have a clock that is kind of in this style. It says the day of the week, it says the time, it says PM, whatever. And then I also have this weather kind of calendar specifically for Vegas because I'm located here. Now, these two kind of graphics are not included with Notion. They are actually an extension that I use with Indify. Now, Indify is basically where you can get these things called widgets. And widgets are embeds that you can put into Notion, and it basically creates your own little graphic for you. So these are kind of all of the graphics that they offer. So I am currently using the weather one and the clock one. And as you can see, they have a Google Calendar one that syncs up with your Google Calendar that I used in in my daily updates page. So there's a lot of different options that you can use for these, and they're constantly being updated. So make sure that you're like checking this often. But what you do is you basically just create a widget, and it's going to pull up a menu on how you can actually customize it and what color you can make it. Obviously, you have to like pay for certain things and upgrade. But as you can see, like you can kind of just customize it however you'd like. And then what you do is you get this little embed link. So it copies it to your clipboard, and then I'm going to go all the way down here to kind of show you how it works. And you're basically going to paste this link in, and it's going to give you 3 options. It's going to say dismiss, which you can also just do by pressing the space bar. You can create a bookmark on it, and then you can create embed. Now, what we want to do is we want to hit that last button, and it's going to make this graphic for us. So now, without having to really change anything about our Notion, we have our own little like weather graphics page. And, you know, obviously you can like customize it however you'd like, but that's basically how you create an embed with Indify. So again, check this out. You can make a lot of different ones just with the basic account. So I'll put this link in the description if you'd like to check it out. And yeah, I mean, that is all for this Notion. I thought I'd just show you guys how I set up this next year's Notion. Again, I really like the aesthetic theme of a lot of things, but I chose to do like cartoons in real life for this next year. So this is the Notion page I'm going to be using for the entire next year. I kind of rearranged it a little bit differently and included some new pages and project lists and stuff like that, but it's essentially the same kind of setup. So this is kind of just how I choose to set it up. And again, like I have a new thing for, you know, like I chose my year to be kind of like each month is a different like artist. So I'm like very proud of it. Like January ski mask for all you ski mask fans out there. But yeah, this is basically how I set up my Notion for this next year. So yeah. All right, that is all I have left for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this video. It gave you a little bit more of an insight into how to set up a Notion page and just how I modeled my Notion aesthetics. I had some people just ask about how I did it, and they kind of wanted to get more into Notion. I know a lot of my family uses Notion now, and a lot of my friends do as well. It's just a really handy tool, like I said in the beginning. But I'm recording this on my webcam, so apologize for the quality. But the next few videos I think will be a little bit better. Recently got a camera, so that'll be fun to try and figure out. So bear with me as I go through this trial process. But again, I really love talking about stuff like this. I love talking about aesthetics and how to make things look appealing and how to set up tools for productivity. Because I think that's a really important skill that we all need to learn earlier. I think it'll help us out a lot more. So, with that being said, I am Valkyrie and I am Little Bird, and I'm going to be signing off. So, thanks so much for watching. Hit the subscribe button, and all the links for everything that I mentioned are going to be in the description. Yeah.